Donald Trump's economy, to paraphrase Republican Senator John Kennedy, is about as dead as fried chicken. We got new job numbers that have just come out here to lead off into the weekend. Economists thought February was going to be a terrible month with a job creation number of about 60,000 new jobs. That would have been terrible compared to the 400,000 jobs created every month during the Biden administration. But instead, the job numbers came out and it was a negative 100,000 jobs. 100,000 jobs lost in February, not 60,000 gained. Just to give you some perspective, since the beginning of the year, December and January, they revised the job numbers down 69,000 from what they originally predicted. Now another 100,000 jobs, and wait till you hear the sectors that the job loss is in. Completely counter to what Donald Trump is telling you about how successful his economy is. Unemployment now up 4.4%. And the American people know a war when they see it, even though Donald Trump and his lapdog of a Congress they've been ordered not to refer to the Iranian war as a war. But the financial markets, the energy markets, they all know what a war looks like, and it looks just like this. And as a result, the financial markets are tumbling as I'm recording. I can't even keep up with how far they're tumbling. I'm not happy about it, but it is an indication that the sole reason, the raison d'etre for Donald Trump to be elected president was low oil prices and a booming economy, job creator, and low prices. None of that has happened. Instead, quite the opposite. We're only bombing Iran and going overseas to export our chaos to cover up for the failures at home, for a domestic policy that is as dead as fried chicken. I'm Michael Popok. You're on the I'm hungry now. You're on the MeidasTouch Network and on Legal AF. Let's talk about these job numbers. And these are coming out from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That's the one Donald Trump really hated because the numbers were so bad. So he fired the head statistician 6 months ago. Well, the new statistician, what's he going to do now? Close the door of the Bureau so they don't issue numbers at all? Think, what are the headwinds that are crushing the American economy? You could do it with me. You can make it a nursery rhyme. Tariffs that are taxes. A war that is leading to rising oil and energy prices. When you got a transit zone in the Middle East called the Strait of Hormuz, you can't get any oil tankers through it right now. It's a traffic jam because of the Iranian war that we've started, right? And so, all right, so you've got all of that. Then you've got the job numbers. I mean, when you've got when economists think you're already got an anemic job creation record and you're only going to create 60,000 jobs in a 330 million person economy, when you think that, then you're already in a terrible place. But when you lose 100,000, so they're off by 160,000, that's even worse. Here's the sectors where they've done the loss, right? Donald Trump, the builder, Bob, the builder president, right? Building everything. Construction lost 11,000 jobs. 11,000 jobs in construction lost in the month of February alone. 28,000 in healthcare. 30,000 in restaurants and bars. And get this, remember the reason for the tariffs was to bring manufacturing home. Bring it home. Have factories booming again in America, right? South Korea is going to build a chip or an AI factory, whatever it is. Yeah. He not only did his economy, our economy, lose 12,000 jobs in factories in the month of February alone. It's the 14th month out of 15. He's on an epic losing streak of having factory jobs lose jobs, not create them. So none of what he's trying to sell to the American people is working. The polling shows it. He's going to crash potentially through the 30% approval barrier any moment now. Independents gave up on him months ago, ran away screaming from him. Young voters, the same thing. They all want their vote back. Now, in addition to the job loss, look at what happened to the stock market. It's down like 2% now. You're down 2%, 3%, just as we went to open the markets. And that is a signal that the financial markets do not believe in Donald Trump's stewardship, if you want to call it that, of the economy. And as a result, it's hurting you and me. Time to run the bastards out. What do you do when you got dead fried chicken? You toss it. And that's what the pent-up demand in America right now is for voting, to vote him out. This is something I wish more people talked about sooner, and it runs in my family. High blood pressure. It doesn't always feel urgent, but it affects half of all adults, and it's the #1 risk factor for mortality. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't warn you. It just quietly builds over time. By March, New Year, momentum fades. Life gets busy, but blood pressure doesn't take a season off. That's why I've been learning about 120 Life, a once-a-day functional drink made with ingredients that help support healthy blood pressure. It's not a pill, not a stimulant, and not some trendy wellness gimmick. It tastes great, it's refreshing, and it's made from a blend of superfruit juices with a powdered version that has just 1 gram of sugar. This isn't guesswork. Grab a home blood pressure monitor, drink 120 Life daily, and check your numbers. Many people see improvement in as little as 2 weeks. Go to 120life.com. That's 120life.com and use my code LegalAF for 20% off. Try it risk-free for 2 weeks. If your blood pressure doesn't come down, you get a full refund. Go to 120life.com and use the code LegalAF to save 20%. Don't wait until next month. Nothing to lose except high blood pressure numbers. Go to 120life.com and use my code LegalAF for 20% off. These statements have not been approved by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. I like to say that what we're watching overseas with Donald Trump and his exporting his chaos. Well, what are we watching? We're watching a reverse Lyndon Johnson. Let's give you a historical reference. Lyndon Johnson was a tremendously successful domestic policy president. Go to the museum, the Lyndon Johnson Presidential Library in Austin, Texas. You will be amazed by the Great Society wing and all the things he did that we still benefit from for domestic policy, period. But he was terrible abroad because he inherited the Vietnam War. And so he felt he had to finally give up on his candidacy, and he never ran for a second term. He did it all in 1 term. Trump's got a reverse problem. He's terrible at home. I mean, the stench of scandal, of the Epstein scandal, the amount of resources he's using to cover up one scandal after the next. You know, Kristi Noem in a love affair with somebody in her office and spending Donald Trump's money and blaming him for it on an ad campaign that benefited her own people, her own friends. That's what got her canned. That she was corrupt, but corrupt not in a way that benefited Donald Trump. So you have the labor secretaries in the midst of a scandal about strip clubs and her husband abusing people in her office and assaulting people in her office. You got all these scandals going on. And what does Donald Trump do? Time to bomb Iran. You know, and he makes it up as he goes along, of course. I thought they were going to shoot first. Did you? Did you think Iran was going to shoot first at the United States and bomb one of our bases? And then having already been bombed several months ago, you think that was going to happen? Yeah, no. So look, here's my perspective. The economy should be the driving wedge between the people and Donald Trump once and for all. He can't fix all of these failings between now and the midterms. I mean, when we founded Legal AF, the YouTube channel, in September of 2024, we were like, oh, it's so far away after the election. You know, if Trump wins the midterms, 2 years away. Forget 2 years. We're down to counting on one hand the amount of months left. Right? A little more than one hand. Never great at math. And ballots are being printed. Special elections are being held. Primaries are being held. He can't fix the scandals, the polling numbers, how people hate his immigration policy, the inhumanity of it, the lack of kindness and humility about his presidency. Right? We need to forget about regime change in Iran. He wants to pick who's going to be the next leader of Iran. We want to pick who's going to be the next leader here in the United States sooner rather than later. So what are the job numbers? They are a telling indicia of the failure of the Trump administration in every way, shape, and form. Period. I mean, you got his Commerce Secretary, his Treasury Secretary saying every month, everything's going to be all right. We're just getting past the Biden administration. Everything's all right. Now he says gas prices are going up. Trump said, who cares? Shrugged my shoulders. I thought that's the reason he got elected. For gas prices and the rest. Lowered. No, that's not going to happen. The Iranian war puts pressure on energy prices, energy, oil, etc., electricity. That's what fuels the global economy, including our own. Nothing that Donald Trump has done has worked. And yet he continues to lie to the American people, like at the State of the Union, and tell them everything is okay when we know it is not. Stand together here, join together here, be part of this community, hit the Legal AF YouTube subscribe button. Continue to bring you this kind of analysis every day. I'm Michael Popok. Until my next report. Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.